Call the council to order tonight. We have a quorum present, and tonight will be led in invocation by Father Joe Vogel from St. Catherine Drexel Catholic Church. It's a new church that's been built on the west side of Sioux Falls. After invocation, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. So at this time, I'll just ask everyone to rise, please.
My first thought always coming to these meetings is to pray for wisdom. And wisdom only comes from God. And the only people that aren't wise are people who think they are wise. That's the beginning of wisdom if you're smart enough to ask for it. And there's a very simple line from the first letter of James, and it says, "But if any of you lacks wisdom, he should ask God, who gives to all generously and ungrudgingly, and he will be given it." And I'm still always amazed and surprised that this council asks for people to pray for them as they guide it. But anybody in their right mind would say, of course we need to pray for wisdom. So Lord, we pray for that great gift of wisdom and discernment and knowledge, that we might use the many gifts you've given us to serve our city well in whatever capacity we are. And I end with a proverb. Actually, it's a Chinese proverb, and one of the names of it is, "It only takes one." And it says, if there is right in the soul, there will be beauty in the person. If there's beauty in the person, there will be harmony in the home. If there's harmony in the home, and I would add in our city, then there will be order in our nation. And if there is order in our nation, there will be peace in our world. So now, Lord, we ask that you would send your Holy Spirit, your wisdom from above, to guide these people that they might serve, but also be grateful that they have the chance to serve. Lord, bless all those who present tonight and those who make decisions. Might it all be done in love and in justice. And we ask this through Christ, who lives and reigns forever and ever. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll do that. Thank you.
We have some mayoral preservation awards that we want to hand out tonight, and the first one is to Bruce Blake, who has really done a lot of work in historical preservation and plaques put up around the city, and he's just been great at doing it. So we'd ask Bruce, we'd ask you to come on up here if you would, and turn over to Erica, who will...
Bruce has done a lot of work for us in Sioux Falls with historic preservation, and in particular the historical marker program that we have in Sioux Falls and in all of Minnehaha County. He's even helped counties across the state get historical markers. So we'd really just like to honor him with this Mayoral Preservation Award because of all the great work that he's done.
And this reads, Mayoral Award for Historical Preservation presented by Mayor Dave Munson, the Sioux Falls Board of Historic Preservation, to Bruce Blake, providing the city of Sioux Falls with 45 years of dedication to preserving local history, specifically in the creation of the Minnehaha County Historical Marker Program in 1988, which has provided the city of Sioux Falls with over 100 historical markers, dated May 21st, 2007. And the next one we have is we'd ask the people from the Quadriga group of 512 North Main, if they'd come up. And they have really, if you're down in the area of 5th and Main, and you look at what they did with the old Standard Oil Company and the building down there, and the Standard Oil building, it's really incredible what that corner has turned into. So we really want to congratulate you very much for what you've done. And this one reads, Mayoral Award for Historical Preservation, presented by Mayor Dave Munson of the Sioux Falls Board of Historic Preservation, to the Quadriga Group, LLC, for restoration of 512 North Main Avenue, the Standard Oil Company Garage A 1919 building on the National Register of Historical Places, May 21st, 2007. Thank you. Congratulations. Then we'd ask the Parker block building people to come up. And that's another building that really has it. We really want to congratulate Neil and Stacy for what you've done in that building and really preserved a building that truly is historical in the city of Sioux Falls. So we congratulate you and thank you for what you have done. And this reads, Mayoral Award for Historical Preservation, presented by Mayor Dave Munson, the Sioux Falls Board of Historic Preservation, to Parker Block Investment, LLC, for restoration of 315 North Main Avenue, the Parker Block A 1890 building on the National Register of Historic Places, May 21st, 2007. Congratulations and thank you. Then we have some Children's Preservation Contest Awards, and we just asked that Colin Jake Hansen, he's age 7, and at Discovery Elementary, if he would come up.
I'll just take a little brief step back, but in honor of National Preservation Month, the Board of Preservation sponsored a children's preservation contest in which we had 4 award winners this evening, and Colin actually did this piece of artwork, which I thought was very good. Took some photos of the Japanese gardens, put them into this frame all himself. So we would like to give him an award. And his artwork will be on display in the lobby of City Hall for a time, too.
That's really good. Thank you very much. Then we'd ask Samantha Rote, she's a 5th grader over at Cleveland Elementary, to come up.
Samantha did some artwork for us also. She drew a picture of the old courthouse tower. She wrote a little text about the tower as well and why it was important to keep the building around and why it was good for families to go there in the summer. So we're really proud of Samantha.
Okay, Alexa Ron from Horseman, 5th grade. Come up, please.
Alexa had to sit through about a half-hour presentation on Sioux Falls history from me, so I'm actually really fortunate that she decided to enter the contest still after listening to that. But she also did a picture of the old courthouse tower and wrote a little text about it, and hers will be on display in the City Hall lobby as well.
Thank you very much, Alexa. Is Brandon James Helma? Okay, would you come up, please?
Brandon also participated in this project and also drew a picture of the old courthouse tower. Very good. And his artwork will also be on display in the City Hall lobby. Thank you very much. Tell Brandon congratulations.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mayor,
Could
I would
we
like
just
to-
Could we get a motion first, and then
I would like to request that item number 22 be removed from the consent agenda and placed as the last item for
could
us
we
this evening.
get a motion to approve and then come to yours?
Move to approve consent agenda.
Kavanaugh moves. Is there a
Second, Jamison.
Jamison seconded. Okay, now, is there any motions?
I'd like to move item number 22 off the consent agenda and put it as the last item on the regular agenda.
Okay, is there a second?
I need to leave the room at this time.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Knutson will second that. Okay, everybody understand the motion? The motion is to take item number 22.
Mr. Mayor, I need to excuse myself for this.
We're just taking this one. Oh, yeah, wait till we vote. You can make
Okay.
this motion here. After we finish this motion, then we'll be back to the main motion. So this one here, we'll just take item number 22, and it'll move it to the end of the regular agenda. Everybody understand the motion? All in favor of that motion on item number 22 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmembers Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
That motion passes 7-1, one excuse, so that we're back to the main motion now. Councilmember Costello is asking to be excused, and he will be noted, he will be excused from the consent agenda vote. Further comments, we got a motion been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda as amended. No further discussion. All in favor of that motion to approve, will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Brown?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present have voted. The consent agenda has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused, as amended. And now we're at the regular agenda. Is there a motion to approve it?
Move for approval.
I second that motion.
Okay, motion been made and seconded.
And Mayor,
Yes.
I have a request for a walk-in.
Okay.
As I understand, we'll take 6 votes to do this. It's for first reading of an ordinance to approve the sale of the land on 26th Street.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I'll
Second, Kavanaugh.
Who seconded?
Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded that motion, okay. Everybody understand that motion to amend? We're going to walk in, need 6 votes. All in favor of the motion to amend will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmembers Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present voted. That motion is passed 8-2. Now we're back to the regular motion as amended. Is there any further questions on the regular agenda as amended? All in favor of approving the regular agenda as amended will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmembers Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present have voted. The regular agenda has been approved 8-0 as amended. Now we're at the part where anyone wishing to address the council for a period of 8 minutes may do so, or 5 minutes, excuse me. We just ask that you give your name and your address for a period of 5 minutes. Anyone wishes to come forward?
Good evening. My name is Cheryl Rath. I am co-chair of Citizens for an Outdoor Pool. I reside at 1709 East Fair Lane. Last Tuesday, Election Day, every registered voter who is a resident of the city of Sioux Falls had the opportunity to vote. 13,108 of your constituents went to the polls to exercise their right to select 2 school board members and to determine the fate of the Drake Springs pool. A majority of those voters cast a yes vote. Yes for an outdoor pool. Yes to spending no more than $4.7 million of the taxpayers' money for a swimming pool. Earlier this year, you voted to authorize $35 million in quality of life bonds. Those bonds were designed to cover 3 projects: the downtown library, Harmadon Park, and $12.4 million for an indoor swimming pool. Much has been said about the public's lack of trust in you as mayor and you as the council and you as the council. In the near future, each of you will cast a vote to issue the quality of life bonds that you previously authorized. This is an opportunity for all of you to begin restoring the public's trust in our city's government. The democratic process of the initiative and the public vote are now completed. The outcome was for an outdoor pool at Drake Springs. An outdoor pool that is not to exceed $4.7 million. I ask you to stop your personal involvement in the chatter about an indoor pool. I ask you to demonstrate good faith to reduce the $35 million in quality of life bonds by $7.7 million. The difference in cost between the indoor and the outdoor pools. In the future, when large issues such as an indoor swimming pool or an event center are to be decided, I urge you as a council to take the initiative to put it to a public vote, thereby avoiding the risk of another petition drive. We are no longer adversaries. We now share a common goal of making Nelson Park the best that it can be. Thank you.
Others who wish to address the council for a period of 5 minutes?
Hi, Teresa Staley, 1621 South Van Ness Avenue. Is that all the information you need? Okay. Well, I'm here tonight to talk about three things as we move forward. And some of you have already found out about this as I've had conversations with you. But the three things that we would like to have happen, first of all, a meeting with Mayor Munson, and thank you, Mayor Munson, because we're going to have a meeting with him on Friday, and with Don Kearney. And we'd like to talk about the design of the pool, some of the amenities that the pool may have, because as we were gathering those signatures, people would bring up things, you know, that they appreciated about the outdoor pools. So that's the first thing. The second thing that's important to us is to preserve the ball field. And I know a lot of talk has gone on about what to do with that. We would really like to keep that intact, and we're even open to looking at the possibility of keeping the pool in its present site. It's been there since the 60s, 70s, and I know there are some problems. And Don mentioned this weekend on Kello that it has been fixed. So I think it is fixable. Let's look at that. Let's look at some possibilities. And then the last thing is we are going to be starting a fundraiser to raise money for flower beds at that site to get some public donations. We would like to make it into a mini McKinnon Park atmosphere, a place where people would like to come down for their lunch hour. Families could lounge around there in the weekend when their children are swimming, and make it just a real beautiful place. So those are the three things that we have in mind. We would appreciate your support, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Just go ahead.
Just a quick question. First of all, congratulations on a wonderful victory. You all worked very hard, and congratulations. Would you be able to tell us yet tonight, for those people who would like to contribute to the flower project, what address and zip code and so forth?
You could send it to my address, and it would be Citizens for an Outdoor Pool. We'll keep that at 1621 South Van Ness. And Dia, does that mean you're going to be contributing?
Yes, I will be participating. I will be participating.
Wonderful.
And the zip code, please?
57105.
Thank you.
Oh, one more thing. I still have a minute, maybe. But we also would like to involve either Southeast Votech or SDSU landscape students to help design that. We don't want to be a burden to the city as far as costs for this. So we're really looking at a lot of options. We'll do the footwork as we have proven that we can do throughout this petition process. Thank you.
Thank you. Just so we know, with the council and the administration, I just want to repeat that you don't have to thank you very much. But working with the council and the park board, or the Parks Department, and we have laid out, just for those people that may not have been present at 4 o'clock, that we've put some timeframes together for the pool for the RFP in June 4th, because we're trying to move as quickly as we can. June 4th, the RFP will be posted on the siouxfalls.org for architecture design, and July 13th is the deadline to submit proposals to the City of Sioux Falls, and we've got July 25th, 2007 is the short list developed for interviews. August 6th, we're looking at consultant interviews, and August 13th, architecture selection. And this will take the design, excuse me, the design process will probably take 5 to 7 months. And this is in concert with what we do in all projects that we do. So this is going to be the time that we determine the size and the basic structure of what we need for the pool, and the design team and architects and the people to do it. So the goal is, and again, whether, and it's going to be, the goal is to bid the project in the March, April 2008 timeframe, and to start construction April, May of 2008. And the actual construction is forecast, and we're looking to take 8 to 12 months. And but if you have, harsh winter or something that can cause delays, that could vary. But the goal that we have is to have the pool start in 2009 swim season, and so we're working to hit that target. And again, weather may be there, so we want to work with the council and the park board, the administration. We're working hard to get these goals, and we worked hard. We started right after the election, so that's the time frame. So those are aware that what we're doing. Any others that wish to address the council for a period of 5 minutes? Please come forward and give your name and address, if you would, please. Bob.
Mayor, maybe Gary could give a little rundown. There's been some confusion as to the issue of those bonds, and I think the bonds are project-specific.
Yes, they are.
And if you could cover that for the public, for Teresa, and they might appreciate that.
That's a good point.
The quality of life bonds cover 3 projects: Harmadon Park, the library addition for the downtown library, and the Drake Springs pool, the Nelson Park pool. The bonds allow funding up to $35 million. They certainly don't require that $35 million be issued. The total amount of the bonds that will ultimately be sold by the city will be determined by the actual cost of the 3 projects. We do know now that the project for the Drake Springs pool will be not to exceed $4.7 million. That will be a cost savings. We have estimates for the other 2 projects, which we think are quite solid.
And actually, I think, to be technically correct, the saving will be more than 7.7
Yes.
because of the fact that some of the contingency funds will be reduced because the size of the bond will be reduced.
The reserves will be reduced, that is correct.
But you're right, Council Member Jameson, that it is for the 3 projects that we have, so everybody should know that. A good point to bring up. So, any others?
I just wanted to say that I hope 4.7 is enough to get that job done, and I would also suggest to this council that at the end of the day, it should be engineers that decide what goes on at that site. Thank you.
Okay, I see no one else come forward for the 5-minute input, so we will move into the regular agenda, and we've got items 29 through 43 that will have to be each one read. So, Tamara?
Thank you, Mayor. I will read items 29 through 43, and then we can go back to questions if anybody has questions on anything specific. And Ms. Bosman is here for your questions. In addition, I am assuming some of the applicants are here as well. These items can be covered with 1 vote of approval by the council. Item 29 is a new 2007 package liquor license for Francis P. Miller and Diana R. Miller, Dunn Roman Liquors, to be operated at 5312 East Arrowhead Parkway, pending final inspection per fire and permits and final inspection per building services. Item 30 is a transfer of a 2007 retail liquor license from Tomco Liquor and Games Incorporated, Eastway Lounge, 3201 East 10th Street, to J.J. Brosco Incorporated, Eastway Sports Lounge and Grill, to be operated at 3201 East 10th Street, including Sunday sales and video lottery terminals. 31 is the transfer of a 2006-2007 retail malt beverage license from SMG Falls Overlook Cafe, 825 North Weber Avenue, to Jan Wood, Falls Overlook Cafe, to be operated at 825 North Weber Avenue. 32 is the transfer of a 2007 retail wine license from SMG Falls Overlook Cafe, 825 North Weber Avenue, to Jan Wood, Falls Overlook Cafe, to be operated at 825 North Weber Avenue. 33 is the transfer of a 2006-07 retail malt beverage license from Janice Rosas Las Toros, 1010 North Minnesota Avenue, to Rosas Investments Incorporated, Las Toros Authentic Mexican Restaurant, to be operated at 1010 North Minnesota Avenue. 34 is the transfer of a 2007 retail wine license for the same address and location as 33. 35 is the transfer of a 2006-2007 retail malt beverage license from Salvador Garcia, Tequila America, 802 East 10th Street, to Edwin J. Besestri and Sandra L. Ralda, Tequila America, to be operated at 802 East 10th Street. 36 is a special one-day liquor license request for Catering America Incorporated, Catering America, to be operated at the Old Courthouse Museum, 200 West 6th Street, for a June 23, 2007 wedding reception. 37 is a special one-day liquor license request for Washington Pavilion Management Incorporated, Washington Pavilion of Arts and Science, to be operated at 301 South Main Avenue as follows in 2007. June 12 for a private event, June 16, 29, July 7, 14, 21, 28, and August 11th for wedding receptions. Item 38 is a special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine license for Dr. Rose Faith, to be operated at the Museum of Visual Materials, 500 North Main Avenue, on June 1, 2007 for their grand opening. 39 is a special one-day malt beverage and one-day wine license request for the Sioux Falls Jazz and Blues Society, to be operated on July 20 to 21, 2007 at Yankton Trails Park, 3901 South Minnesota Avenue for the Jazz Fest, and on September 29, 2007 at Vernite BMW, 1500 South Minnesota Avenue for the Jazz and Blues fundraiser. 40 is a special one-day malt beverage license for Philanthropy Promotions Incorporated, to be operated at J&L Harley Davidson, 2601 West 60th Street North as follows: May 23rd and June 13th, 2007 for Bike Night, June 9th, 2007 for Vietnam Vets Motorcycle Giveaway, and June 16th, 2007 for J&L Muscular Dystrophy Association Poker Run. 41 is a special one-day malt beverage license for Youth Activities Incorporated, to be operated at Legend Victory, USA Cycle Incorporated, 2101 West Burnside Street on June 23, 2007 for a fundraiser. 42 is a special one-day malt beverage license for Sioux Falls Catholic Schools, to be operated at Great Bear Recreation Park, 5901 East Rice Street on June 23, 2007 for the Summer Jam. 43 is various retail malt beverage and packaged malt beverage license renewals for 2007-2008, to be operated at various locations in the city of Sioux Falls. And Lori is here if you have questions. Thank you, Lori.
Thank you, Tamara. I would like to add a little bit to item 43, which is Exhibit A. And Exhibit A is our first batch of renewals for retail malt beverage and packaged malt beverage licenses. There are two on the retail malt beverage list that we need to approve with a special stipulation. One is for Swat and Venezia Muzhnin, and this is for the European Supermarket, 702 East 8th Street, and requesting this be approved pending corrections per fire. And the other one is for the Ramcota Companies, Inc., for Best Western Ramcota, 2400 North Louise Avenue, also pending corrections per fire. And we will have two more exhibits. June 4 will be Exhibit B, which will be the largest one, and then Exhibit C will be 2 weeks later, June 18th, and that will have the underage sales that will need to be addressed and those that didn't quite meet the deadline. So we'll have two more sets of these.
Are there questions on items 29 through 43 for Lori? Others who wish to address council on any item from 29 to 43? Not. Is there a motion by the council to approve those items 29 through 43?
Move for approval, Jamison.
Jamison moved. Is there a second?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments? I see no further comments. All in favor of approving items 29 through 43 will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Council members Brown,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Henninger.
Yes.
All members present have voted. Items 29 through 43 have been approved 8-0. Item 44.
Item 44 is deferred action, second reading. An ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending Section 4361 by removing license requirement and instead granting an exclusive franchise for providing ground ambulance transport services within the city, and increasing ambulance service rates set forth in Section 4368, along with repealing Sections 4362 through 4367 and 4369 through 4373 of Chapter 43, Vehicles for Hire, Article 4, Surface Ambulance Services of the Code of Ordinances of said city.
Judy Buseman, Director of the Health Department. As we all recall, 2 weeks ago, we deferred this item as we were and at that time we asked REMSA to review their recommendation as we had some questions surfacing from the community to REMSA, to the council. I think some of those were directed. REMSA has reviewed those issues. They support and recommend this ordinance as we have prepared it, supported by their medical board. After my remarks, we have members of the medical board and the board here that could answer any of the direct questions regarding their recommendations. We have Dr. Mary Helen Harris, who's chair of the medical board, Margaret Sumption as chair of REMSA's board, and Cecilia Gibbons, REMSA board member. Staff continue to support this approach for this ordinance. Quick review of ordinance changes, as we've already heard Tamara read them, but we're really looking to stay with the single provider ambulance for Sioux Falls, with revision in the ordinance now to support and in place the contract as we have negotiated for Sioux Falls and leave that contract with Rural Metro. The second change is to implement changes in how we would do rates, and those would be that we would use a medical CPI index, but that the cap on that would be whichever is less of 4% or that medical CPI index, and it could occur on a yearly basis. One thing just to identify as you look at rates that we hadn't discussed before would be, as we look at those rates, would be to remember that the rates as we look at them are a bundled rate, other than there are no add-ons for medical supplies for things. So as they look at those rates, that would be where you look sometimes at bills for hospital rates, you see lots of additional charges. Those are charges other than transport, mileage, and that rate. That is the rate for each one of those types of dispatches and transports. Okay, I think just in reviewing this recommendation, the medical board and REMSA have put significant amount of work into this ordinance and into these changes. This was not made in haste. It was done with much serious approach to this. They've spent a period of around 18 months working first on review. There was significant review within the community with stakeholders. About 20 interviews were done personally by the REMSA board as they individually spoke with the various stakeholders within the healthcare, hospital, ERs, fire, police, anybody who interacted or worked with our ambulance service. We've compared to various EMS systems across the country, talked about pros and cons of various models to make sure that the model that we were reviewing and that what we have in the city was the approach that should be adopted by these and recommended to this council. Looked at best practice models. We've consulted with a national expert and who continues to support the work of the REMS as REMSA has identified it. As we look at our makeup of our REMSA and our medical board, we have significant stakeholders within the community who participate at monthly meetings, and as they review policy on a monthly basis, they set procedure and protocol. I would identify in our medical board, we have 3 physicians from our ERs who daily interact with Rural Metro as they bring patients in. They adjust and talk quality. They are able to interact with our medical director. We'll discuss a little bit of the quality as soon as I'm finished here, but we have interaction and quality adjustment with that and with that medical board on monthly basis, but also on daily basis as they refer to our medical director any issues or adjustments that need to be made. As a board, they have key roles. The REMSA board has a key role to adjust our administrative policy as they do oversight and as they adopt all the protocols that are done from the medical board. These medical board members and REMSA board members review quality on an ongoing and monthly basis. So these are people who are very dedicated to the service that we have charged them with. This is a dynamic system. We change protocols on a monthly basis, but it change medical treatment plans. We have a medical system and a quality ambulance system that we know has an accredited system. They are one of about 75 in the nation who is CAS accredited. That accreditation comes by sight. That does not something that moves with them. So if we were to look at moving in another service, it would be something we'd have to have accredited after a period of time if they do this. So that is a very significant piece of our quality. Rural Metro has identified a significant partnering relationship with us through this CAS accrediting, through the service that we deliver on a day-to-day basis. We have excellent response rates. We have compliance with our contract as we have identified it. We have not had dips in that service. So we feel that this is a sound recommendation. This is why staff supports this. This is why this is coming from REMSA at this time. With that, I'm going to ask Dr. Luther to speak briefly on quality.
Just a second.
Yeah, can I ask Judy one quick question? You mentioned that you've spent 18 months going over this very, very thoroughly and so forth. I guess I just have one question right now, and that is, why didn't this go before a city council committee before it came here?
We took this to the finance committee.
The finance committee. Okay. It didn't go to public services.
I guess we were looking at rates and financing. It was a contract. We took it to that point.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Okay, thanks, Judy.
Good evening, Dr. Jeff Luther. I'm the Regional EMS Authority Medical Director. And what I wanted to, I guess, just speak to again and emphasize the quality that we have in our current system. And we've developed a good history of familiarity with rural metro ambulance service. And in any EMS service, the quality assurance is done through several scenarios. And one of those is prospective quality assurance. And prospective quality assurance involves keeping pace with trends and changes in the pre-hospital care. And that's something that's done almost daily. And as Judy had alluded to, we bring that forth, any recommendations or changes to the medical board for approval. We also provide quality assurance through concurrent quality control, and that is feedback, immediate feedback once the patient is delivered to the emergency room. If they have any concerns, they can contact me or Rural Metro's medical director within minutes. We also now have a system that's a technological system that's implemented to track patients, and we're able to do quality control immediately once the paramedic files the report. Retrospective, that's the other form of quality assurance, and that's when we go back and do chart review, review cases on a scheduled basis, and we've been doing that for quite some time. It's an uncompromising quality assurance program. There's some redundancies in there, and there's checks and balances that the system can have the highest regard in terms of being assured that quality care is being delivered in the current system. As Judy also mentioned, Rural Metro Ambulance is CAS accredited. This is a national accreditation that carries with it a great deal of weight, and that it stresses that they are their own center of excellence for providing emergency services. There is also additional quality assurance that goes on, and we do monthly meetings with Rural Metro Ambulance Service, and I also do quality assurance review in their involvement in the county. And they also, in addition to that, have their own internal QA program that's based on peer review. And any issues, and I assure you that when they do come up, they bring those to me, and I take the opportunity to visit with the paramedics and review any questions or concerns, not just with problems, but also with their ongoing educational needs and training. And they do skills validation twice a year in the spring and in fall, and myself and their medical director attend those. It goes beyond just skills validation, but they also take that opportunity to do a couple days worth of training and updating their continuing medical education opportunities, and we also do witness some of the skills that they do. It's a hands-on reveal of their capabilities as well. So I just wanted to take a few minutes again to emphasize the quality that we have in existence with this right now, and that familiarity with the current provider is well-founded and works out quite well.
Questions of Jeff? Kermit?
Yes, Jeff, Judy mentioned that you're making monthly changes in your procedures.
Well, I guess I should clarify that. If there's, for example, what we're doing now is the American Heart Association has made recommendations in CPR instructions, and that involves lots of things, not only just the ambulance providers or the paramedics, but also 911 dispatch centers. There has been a proposal to do response configurations, and this is something that's been ongoing, and so there's some sort of activity going on each month. We don't overhaul the system each month, but as things come up, whether it be a procedure or a new medication or something that's been proven to provide benefit in the field, we'll take that to the medical board for their approval, and then that will be implemented after that approval.
Also, I have another question. You could tell me what happened when we had the ammonia leak at Morrell's. I was told that the system was oversaturated. In other words, we didn't have enough ambulances there. We had to transport people by buses and private vehicles. Could you explain what happened?
Well, as part of a mass casualty or an incident such as that, we will activate through the EOC, and we will pull in all resources that we have. Not everybody has to be transported to the hospital by ambulance, so those, based on the triaging that they receive, you use all manners of resources available to you, whether it be school buses, taxi cabs, or whatever, to transport those patients if they need to be treated. They are treated on scene, as they were down at the Morrell incident, too, and those that were triaged out that were stable, or the green, if you will, patients, those were transported via other modalities. And we also called in our mutual aid, too. We had Humboldt's ambulance there, Del Rapids Ambulance Service was there. So, you know, it's unpredictable to say, you know, what you're going to need in all your resources, but you do have to assess those resources, and I think that we do a very good job with that as well.
So if I could just clarify, you mentioned the Humboldt Ambulance Service was used, but they're not, I guess you could say, approved by REMSA to operate in Sioux Falls. So do you allow exceptions, or
certainly in a situation like that, if we are, you know, the rest of the system then is still in place, but if we need to have additional resources, we utilize everything that we can. And so in a situation like that, yes, Del Rapids Ambulance will be brought in, and those ambulances were staffed and overseen by rural metro personnel as well. So it just wasn't their personnel coming in with their ambulances. They had assistance and oversight with the paramedics from rural metro ambulance in transporting those patients in the rigs that they used.
Also, too, I understand that during that incident, Morrell's, there were ambulances in Brandon that were not utilized. Is that right?
I can't comment on that, if that was the case or not.
Okay.
Further questions? Bob Litz.
Jeff, I'm glad to see you here tonight, because I was having some conversations with a friend of mine that's a firefighter, and as I recall, in another life, while you were going to med school, you were also a firefighter. And some of the comments he made to me were a little bit at odds with what I heard down here, at least what I thought I heard down here a while back. Would you explain to me what, if the fire department gets to a bad accident first, what are their responsibilities and where do they stop, and what's the rationale for it?
You bet. Thanks, Bob. In our current system, what we have with Sioux Falls Fire and Rescue is they're their first response agency at the BLS level. And they're all EMT basics. Rural Metro Ambulance.
BLS is Basic
Life Support. Okay. That's correct. And we can't lose sight of the extreme importance of what our first responders do at the BLS level. Even the most highly trained, skilled paramedic at the advanced life support level has to practice or participate in the basic life support assessment for at least the first 3 to 5 minutes of any incident that we have to respond to. The way the current system is and its makeup is that we have a transport system that happens to be our ALS provider. I guess to address your question, what it is that they do, if they're there first, they're going to render that first response BLS care, which is extremely important. they will deliver that patient in an already improved condition by the time the ambulance gets there. So we can't lose sight of just how important the activities that they do at the BLS level. Does that kind of answer your question?
I guess so. So when the ambulance gets there, then their responsibilities are over. Is that correct?
Well, we would hope not, because there's more to EMS care than just triage, treatment, and transport. We have to realize that patient egress, securing the scene is very important in getting that patient out of there and getting them to the hospital. As far as the medical care provided to that patient, that's a level that is more advanced, so that is transferred over to that provider once Rural Metro arrives on scene.
Thank you, Jeff.
Further questions? Okay, others wish to address the council on item number 44. Thanks, Jeff. Okay, I see no one coming forward. Gerald?
I have some, just a communications question, I guess. I'm not sure who should address that, so I'll leave it open and someone can pick it up. I learned last week that dispatch actually is patched through to Omaha versus being done locally. Is that correct? And if that's true, are the connections in a, let's call a large event with police, fire, and any of the ancillary services that are necessary, how are those coordinated when dispatch is done in Omaha?
Well, first of all, and we have the Rural Metro leadership here also who can perhaps answer this more specifically. But to answer your question, there are certain situations where if the Rural Metro Ambulance Service is contacted using the 7-digit number in lieu of 911, then that may be transferred to their Omaha Dispatch Center, but it would be only at a time that 911 is bypassed for some reason.
So 911 services are not automatically patched through to Omaha?
To my knowledge, no. It is designed that the 911 Dispatch Center dispatches all emergency services in our community, and that includes any emergency call that Rural Metro would respond to. Is there additional information?
Margaret, do you want to just give your name and address, please, for the record?
Margaret
Thank you.
Sumpson, Chair of the REMSA Board, 820 South Hawthorne, 57104.
Thank you. Okay, Margaret.
Good evening. My name is Mike Stewart, and I'm the Division Manager for Rural Metro. All 911 calls obviously come into the 911 center and dispatched automatically over the radio frequency, and they use a method of call triaging or sorting, if you will, to determine the response necessary, the Clausen system, the EMD process. We also maintain a 7-digit number for a business number, basically. I mean, people call in on that number to ask about their bill, to ask about a standby at a football game or whatever. On occasion, though, we will have customers call in and request an ambulance. Our arrangement with the REMSA board indicates that, or mandates, I should say, that we have an EMD process in place. Our Omaha Communication Center is an EMD center that actually operates for our Omaha system. And if a call comes in on the business line, rather than having a non-trained individual screen that call, it gets transferred down to Omaha. Again, just the 7-digit number. The call is triaged via the Clausen system, the same system that the 911 center uses. The vehicle is dispatched, and then if the level mandates a first response by the fire department, then our crews, our supervision here in Omaha, automatically notifies the 911 center. And so basically you have the same response that you would have whether it came in via 911 or whether it came in on the 7-digit number. Yes.
Okay, Gerald.
Along those lines is, so like in our Sioux Falls phone book, the number that's listed there for Rural Metro, does that go all the way to Omaha?
The 336-6711 number will actually be answered in Omaha, and probably 90% of the time it's somebody saying, you know, I've got this billing question, or we have a football standby, or some type of business related. but once in a while, individuals that have not been couched will say, I need an ambulance. And because of our arrangement with REMSA, that call has to be EMD processed. And because we have the technology in place and the personnel down in Omaha to screen that call, they get the very same screening that the 911 center would do and the same response.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Others who wish to address the council?
Also want to just address that at any time that there is a chart generated or there is a patient evaluated and transported through our RescueNet system, that's that electronic patient tracking system, we're able to review that from a quality assurance standpoint. So in those particular cases when they do occur, that's not a ghost patient. We will have control of the how they're treated, when they're treated, and where they went.
Okay. Gerald?
The second part of my question, and I think I've got a partial answer, but I want to make sure I get the whole answer, is if we have a large event, communications with the police department, the fire department, the EMS system is all on the same frequency, if you will?
Are you, Commissioner Banning, are you talking about if they call the 7-digit number? Well, in the event that if there's more than a few patients that would activate the system otherwise, I think if there was these private calls that we see or that we're talking about are the patients that will call and don't want red lights and siren and that sort of thing. But we do have a system in place. There's state radios, statewide radios, and those sorts of things in the event of a mass casualty or mass incident that we would be able to effectively communicate them. Dean's can articulate a little better than I can on the specifics.
Dean Trumbull with the City Health Department, 2616 West 29th Street. Rural Metro at this time is not yet on the state radio system. They're still using their UHF radio frequency. There is a plan in place to put them onto the state radio system, but they have not yet converted over to that system. Metro Communications does have the ability technically to patch them through, but they do have in their trucks, they're using the mobile radios for the state radio system. They don't have them yet on their portable radios. They're primarily using their own UHF radios. So the plan is in place, however, to put them onto the state radio system. And then the capacity would be there to put them all into the state radio system and to put units all on one common frequency. At this point in time, that is not being done.
Is there a time frame in that process in which that would be completed?
David Atherton is working on that, but getting some feedback from the microphones. David Atherton is working on that, but I don't know that that has been accomplished. I guess the holdup has been some of the equipment problems with some of the portable radios that they have allocated to rural metros. So I don't know exactly where that process is at.
Okay, thank you.
Others that wish to address the council on item number 44. Jay?
Hello, Mr. Mayor. You've been here a long time. My name is Jay Major. I'm owner and operator of MedStar Ambulance in Brandon, South Dakota. We have 6 paramedic units there. Joe Kohavi is our director. He's back behind us over there. The reason we wanted to come and approach the council this morning is a couple-fold. First off, there's some issues that we think should be brought to light before the vote is ratified tonight. Second off, I think that Rural Metro is an awesome ambulance company. I think Dr. Luther is an awesome medical director. I don't have any issues with that. Some of the issues that we were kind of looking at as a company, though, when you were speaking of the Morales incident, we sat in Brandon with 6 ambulances and weren't utilized when it was needed in the city of Sioux Falls. But having said that, I'm here to ask to have the vote delayed for at least 2 weeks from today. And I'm going to give you a couple of reasons now. And if you do delay the vote, then there's going to be a packet that's going to be given to you. My understanding is the contract's not up till the end of the year. And, a couple of weeks here or there, I've learned in my life, it doesn't make or break a whole lot. We talked about the paramedics on the fire department. You asked a question about the fire department. And I'm here to kind of stand up for them a little bit. The fire department right now, to the best of my knowledge, has at least 20 paramedics. And those paramedics are only able to operate at a BLS level right now. Which means if rural Metro's 2 or 3 ambulances are busy and the fire department shows up on scene, those paramedics have to operate as EMTs. And that can be very valuable in certain situations. A bee sting where somebody's neck swells up. Well, you don't have the 4 to 6 minutes for BLS to do their thing. If the fire department paramedics had the opportunity and the facilities to treat patients ALS, then I think you'll even see even a better outcome in this city for survival, because our paramedics in the city are absolutely a vital part. And they have a lot of paramedics, and I believe they should be used. And if I'm given an opportunity a couple of weeks from now, I can explain that further. Second off, the rate structure. As a businessman, I say vote for it, because your rate structure affects me in Brandon. Brandon has adopted the rate structure of Sioux Falls. So as we begin our endeavors in Brandon, and as the rates go up every year without having to ask the council for that, that affects me in a good way. I can raise my rates and I can make more money. Okay, now the downside of that is I'm also a practical businessman. If my family needs an ambulance, it's going to be Rural Metro, not MedStar. And I believe if there's a monopoly or a franchise granted, which is okay, no issues with that, but if there's a franchise or a monopoly, it needs to be treated as such, and that's in every direction. I don't believe that on a yearly basis, without the city council's approval, should anybody be able to come here under a monopoly or a franchise and raise their rates without your approval. That is, it's an issue that I have. Of course, it'll make me more money, but I think practically it's not the right thing to do. And there's many other issues that I'd like to bring up if I'm given the opportunity. As I said, what's 2 weeks versus 7 months? If you would delay the vote for 2 weeks or a month and give me an opportunity to provide you with some more information other than what you have in front of you, that's all I'm asking. And if not, then I appreciate that too. So thank you for your time.
Questions of Jay? Thank you very much, Jay. Others that wish to address the council on item number 44? Then we will close it to council discussion or action on it.
I move for approval of item number 44.
Knutson moved. Is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson second. Further comments on the motion to approve?
Yes, I have a substitute motion to defer this issue until June 18th.
Until June 18th is your motion? Motion been made to defer until June 18th. Is there a second?
I'm going to second that.
Well, it's seconded. Steger's made a motion. Substitute motion to defer until June 18th.
Yeah, I think it's particularly important that we get some more different perspectives on this issue. For several city council meetings, we've heard the REMSA board's perspective. We've heard Rural Metro. And I think it would be just very, very healthy to get a different perspective on this issue.
Further question on substitute motion? Bob?
Well, I'll not be supporting the deferral, but I think we need to look back. Some of us were here back when the ambulance issue, as Jay alluded to many years ago. There was a board put in place, the REMSA board, the medical board, to monitor and provide for the citizens of Sioux Falls an adequate, safe, and an efficient medical emergency plan. And that plan has worked. I think if you look back, we've had little or no downside to that. The quality assurance that was guaranteed by the REMSA board and the medical board, I think, is unsurpassed anywhere. I think that's part of the accreditation that's taken place in the city of Sioux Falls. And I think we need to understand that there's 8 of us sitting up here, and none of us has spent the time learning what REMSA and the medical board have to go through to make sure we have the proper system. And I would encourage your support in not deferring this for 2 weeks.
Further comments? We got a substitute motion to defer item 44. I see no further comments. So all in favor of the motion to defer until June 18th will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilmember Brown?
No.
Costello?
No.
Jamison?
No.
Kavanaugh?
No.
Knutson?
No.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benninga?
No.
That motion fails, 2 yes and 6 no. So we're back to the main motion to approve item 44. Further comments?
Well, I'm sorry we didn't get the deferral so we could hear really a different perspective instead of just hearing one perspective all the time. But let me just make a few other remarks, too, about this ordinance tonight. And very simply, it boils down to monopoly, monopoly, monopoly. Let's be very clear with the public. That's what we are talking about tonight with this ambulance ordinance. And let's remember, the American people, the people of Sioux Falls, do not like monopolies, especially government-sanctioned and protected monopolies. People want to be able to choose. One of the advocates of monopoly in Sioux Falls is the REMSA board that came into existence in the early 1990s. Please note, I did not mention Rural Metro because Rural Metro knows how to compete. In Omaha, they compete with other ambulance services. Before the REMSA board, there was a brief period of time in Sioux Falls when there was actually competition in the ambulance service. Since the establishment of the REMSA board, competition has been extinguished and monopoly has prevailed. The members of the REMSA board are very sincere and articulate in advocating the monopoly model of ambulance service. Reinforcing their beliefs is the Fitch consulting firm that the city has paid thousands of dollars to in order to tell us we need a government-sanctioned monopoly. Also encouraging monopoly is our city attorney, who willingly wrote this ordinance to further tighten up the provisions protecting the monopoly. To be quite frank, there are many city officials who like an ambulance monopoly. During the current discussions over ambulance service in Sioux Falls, it has also become apparent that REMSA, as a regulatory board, has suffered the same fate as national regulatory agencies in Washington, D.C. Studies by political scientists have revealed that oftentimes regulatory agencies are captured by the businesses they regulate. What is meant by captured is that over time, cozy relationships develop between the regulators and the regulated. The regulators tend to become overly sympathetic to the business they regulate. Likewise, the REMSA board has become overly sympathetic to Rural Metro. 2 pieces of evidence. The REMSA board did not ask for an RFP, request for proposal, to determine if other ambulance services might be able to do a better job than Rural Metro. Secondly, during this whole process, the biggest cheerleader for Rural Metro was not Rural Metro, but the REMSA board. The REMSA board should have stayed on the sidelines and acted as an objective source of information for the City Council instead of being an advocate for Rural Metro. Standing up to a monopoly and advocating competition can be a daunting task. However, we now have the example of Brandon with its progressive City Council and progressive citizens bringing ambulance competition to Brandon. Before the era of ambulance competition in Brandon, the city had an ambulance service licensed by the state, but not allowed to respond to calls in Brandon because Rural Metro had a government-sanctioned monopoly in the city by way of the REMSA board. Common sense demanded competition in Brandon. It takes Rural Metro 15 minutes to respond to Brandon calls from Sioux Falls. whereas ambulances already in Brandon can respond in 2 to 4 minutes. Reducing the response time can obviously save lives, especially for heart attack and stroke victims. The same can also be said about Sioux Falls. How many times have you witnessed emergency situations in which fire and police are on the scene first, with rural Metro coming in on the scene last? Now, I'm not criticizing rural Metro because there are simply more fire and police personnel and equipment on duty than the 3 ambulances that rural Metro normally has on duty. Logic and common sense would dictate that if you have competition in ambulance service, rather than our current monopoly, there could be more ambulances out on the streets, thereby reducing response times and saving lives. I strongly urge my 7 colleagues on the City Council to vote against this ordinance that provides for a government-sanctioned and protected monopoly. Embrace competition in ambulance services and let the people choose.
Further comments? We got a motion been made and seconded to approve item 44. Bob Litz.
I'd just like to say that it seems like invariably when Councilor Staggers and I vote the same way, it's not for the same reason. And I do not have a problem with a single provider. I think it's the maximum opportunity we have for quality. I think that when 2 people start competing against each other, I know things get cut out of the picture, and I'm not for that. My thoughts were simply this, that we're going to do something here possibly for 8 years, and a couple of more weeks wouldn't have hurt us one bit.
That's right.
And I just wanted the council to know that. Thank you.
Kevin?
Well, it's difficult to respond to the many charges that the councilor brought forth. I'll just say this. I think people want quality care more than anything else. And I think the system that we have in place, including the REMSA board, with professional medical providers, not politicians, guiding this process, is the best for this community. Using terms like regulated or whatever type of monopoly that was mentioned, I think it demeans the process. It demeans the concept of a single provider. What I see as an alternative to the single provider and the loss of the quality control is multiple providers cherry-picking well-to-do customers and leaving others on their own. And I do not want to see that happen in this community. There's nothing perfect about the system that we have now. Nobody has a perfect system. But I believe it is worthy of renewal. And I would urge the council to do so.
Dee?
Just a quick comment. I very much respect the other comments that have been made this evening, and as regarding the 2-week delay, I'm always very well open to input and so forth, and am accessible 24 hours a day by email, phone call, snail mail, whatever. Work at this job nonstop, and I had never heard from Mr. Major, not for a long, long time anyway, and would have been glad to have spoken with him sooner, but we have been talking about this issue for quite a while, and I agree with Councilor Litz that 2 weeks is not, a big deal, but on the other hand, like I said, I've been accessible, and I just see no reason to delay this any longer.
Further comments? Got a motion been made and seconded to approve item 44. I see no further comments, so all in favor of approving item 44 will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Nope.
Staggers?
No.
Benninga?
Yes.
Item 44 has been approved, 6 yes and 2 noes. Item 45.
Item 45 is a second reading. An ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, providing supplemental appropriations for the hiring of Baller Herbst Law Group as a consultant concerning federal telecommunications and cable television issues.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Item 45 is an ordinance that would supplement the city attorney's consulting budget to the extent of $20,000 for the specific purpose of hiring FCC counsel to help the city through its cable franchising ordinance rewrite and the possibility and probability that we will have multiple applicants for franchise licenses for providing cable services in the city, even this year and perhaps into next year. One of the reasons I think it's critical that we have FCC council support for this is that our ordinance as written, at least certain provisions of it appear now to be in conflict with some recent FCC rulings. I will also advise the council that in the past several months I've had 3 phone calls from attorneys representing the Federal Trade Commission. They're concerned about the anti-competitive nature of the cable market in Sioux Falls. I've told them that we will be rewriting the cable franchise ordinance, and they're very interested in seeing the finished product. I think this is a time where we need professional help to guide us through this process.
Questions?
Gary, I think the 2007 budget that we appropriated for your office had something like $34,000 in budgeted authority for legal counsel, outside legal counsel?
Yes.
Can you tell me how much of that is left?
I have $11,000 at this time that is not allocated to hearing examiners, but we do have issues that come up during the course of the year, and if that were totally allocated to this contract, I would have no flexibility. Furthermore, it is not sufficient to cover. So that is the reason for the request.
So we've spent a little over $21,000 or $22,000. Can you tell me what that was allocated for?
No, it hasn't been spent, but when we sign contracts with our hearing examiners, we assign a dollar amount to each of those contracts, and then because that money is committed to that contract, it can't be spent elsewhere.
So it will be spent on hearing examiners?
Yes.
Thank you.
Other questions, Gerald?
And I understand Kevin's comments and very appropriate, but one of the things I'd like to remind the council from my perspective is we have been short an attorney, assistant attorney, since I think late last year, and Gary has operated below his standard that we have allocated dollars for. And I understand we can't transfer monies between accounts, but the total attorney's budget, frankly, from a personnel standpoint, has been understaffed. And I would like to remind people that I think it's important that we support the city attorney in this very specialized law issue.
Further?
Yeah, I was going to ask Gary, how much can we anticipate spending per hour on this? This is a Washington, D.C. law firm, I trust.
Yes. I'm sorry, I don't have the contract with me. Do you remember what the hourly rate is, Deborah?
I don't, although if you look at your red notes, there's an attachment there. You can pull up the entire contract. It was emailed to the council on Thursday, I believe.
I think it was $500 an hour or 400.
Other questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 45. Vernon?
Question for City Attorney. Do you anticipate, given that you have $11,000 left in your outside council budget, and we're not even halfway through the year yet, are you going to need a further supplement later in the year?
I will not ask for a supplement.
Deborah, what, the attachment under the memo, is that where it's at?
Yeah, on your in your red notes, you'll see that it has a PDF, a little icon. That was actually emailed to you earlier, so over the weekend.
Give me a second, I'll find it.
Find it. I'm just struggling to find it, sorry.
Further questions on 45? Others who wish to address the council?
Move for approval, Benninga.
Benninga moves.
I
Is there a
second the motion.
Did you second
I
it, B?
second it.
Knutson seconded. Further questions? Not all in favor of approving item 45? Vote yes.
I guess Pat's going to have this here real fast. Cost
Let's
per
see.
hour. I guess while Pat's still looking at, I guess I'm concerned that there are other ways we can go about this. To me, this should be a last resort, going to a Washington, D.C. law firm. We mentioned before, why not make a phone call to the FCC asking them about some of their new regulations, or also contacting our congressional delegation, going to a conference, reviewing articles dealing with changes in regulations. I mean, there are so many other options here. This should be an absolute last resort.
Kevin?
I'm not sure what is so objectionable about the residence of this lawyer or how much he charges per hour. But it would seem to me that if they have expertise in the area in which our city attorney staff clearly does not, we should be hiring them. I'm not going to second guess the city attorney's office. If they want to hire somebody from St. Louis or New York, that's fine. But I don't think it makes any difference.
Okay, we've got a motion been made and seconded to approve item 45. Further questions? I see no further questions. All in favor of that motion approved, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Brown,
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
No.
Benega.
Yes.
Item 45 is approved, 7 yes, 1 no. Item 46.
Item 46 is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending minor amendments in planned development districts. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Good evening, Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services, along with Steve Randall. We have a number of items tonight that are being recommended for approval by the Planning Commission, and we'll be setting the date of hearing for all of these items for Monday, June 4th. The first item is a change to the zoning ordinance that clarifies the procedure for amendments to a planned development zoning district. For minor amendments, those are approved by the Planning Commission. And currently, the ordinance identifies that those go through the same procedure as a conditional use permit, and so we're making that modification. We are also updating the language. Within a planned development zoning district, there are special uses allowed, and those specifically have been indicated by the City Council that those should go through both Planning Commission and City Council review. And those include adult uses, on-sale alcoholic beverage establishments, off-sale alcohol beverage establishments that are within 500 feet of an elementary or secondary school, and any regulated medical waste facilities. Those would automatically go to both Planning Commission and City Council review. So this is just an update and a clarification on the procedure for those different types of actions.
Questions of Mike on item number 46. Let's go to 47.
Item 47 is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by amending airport approach zones to an airport district.
This is an ordinance that would establish the new airport zoning district, and we had a presentation to you some time back by both Jeff Schmidt and representatives of the Airport Authority on how this ordinance would be established. The Airport Authority has been working with us and actually will be helping us administer this new zoning district.
Questions of Mike on 47. Bob?
Mike, how far does that extend beyond the airport perimeters for these type of things? I think those are one of the, there are some concerns, of course, about approaches to airports, construction. Does that give them control to veto a construction project if it's height restrictions and so forth?
Yes, the FAA has guidelines for all the approach zones, and this zoning district not only deals with the airport land itself, but also with the approach zones. And I don't know if we have that exhibit, but within your packet, there should be an exhibit that identifies where this overlay district will be applicable in terms of the approach zones. So there's one set of guidelines for what type of development happens within the airport property per se. There's another set of regulations by the FAA on the approach zones. And we actually have been enforcing those for some time, but now we're just putting it into a more of a formal zoning district.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions of Mike on item 47? Let's go to 48 then.
Item 48 is a rezone, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at the south side of 85th Street west of Western Avenue to buffer the 1.5 million gallon water tank and the single-family residential with office development and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is about a 12-acre parcel that's being changed from agricultural to office for future office development. And it's on the south side of 85th Street, adjacent to a future elevated water storage facility that the city will construct.
Questions of Mike on item 48? 49.
Item 49 is a first reading rezone, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at West 54th Street North and Westport Avenue to allow commercial development of property and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a 19-acre parcel on the east side of Interstate 29 and north of 54th Street North. The developer Jansmic Land Investments is proposing this for future commercial development.
Questions of Mike on item 49? 50.
Item 50 is a first reading rezone, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at southeast corner of 41st Street and Ellis Road to develop the property and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is about a 3-acre parcel on the southeast corner of 41st Street and Ellis Road that will be changed from rural residential to commercial for future neighborhood commercial development. Because of the size of this parcel, the applicant will have to go through a conditional use permit in the future as well.
Questions of Mike on item 50? 51.
Item 51 is a first reading rezone, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at West 5th Street and La Mesa Drive to create more single-family lots and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is approximately 12 acres of property that will be rezoned for future residential development, as well as changing the zoning on a portion of an existing manufactured housing park to the MH zoning district.
Questions of Mike on item number 51? Go to 52.
52 is a first reading rezone, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at East Grant Street and vacated North LaSalle Avenue to expand East 10th Street storage and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property on East 10th Street is just over 1 acre in size. It is surrounded on 3 sides by commercial storage garages, and this will allow the owner to expand that development with additional 4 buildings for commercial storage.
Questions of Mike on 52? 53 then.
53 is a first reading rezone, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at east side of Career Avenue, south of West Tickman Street, to conform with surrounding zones and develop a business industrial park and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is approximately 9 acres of land on the east side of Career Avenue, which is adjacent to existing light industrial development, and this will also be rezoned to allow for expansion of industrial uses. Pesca Properties is the applicant for this rezoning.
Questions of Mike on 53? 54.
54 is a first reading rezone, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at West Stony Creek and Ellis Road to rezone and subdivide the subject property for the Phase 1 of a single-family residential subdivision with 153 lots and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is approximately 60 acres in size. It's on the west side of Ellis Road and north of 22nd Street. Daniels Construction is the applicant. The intent is to develop this into single family with approximately 153 lots.
Questions of Mike on item 54? 55.
55 is a first reading rezone, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 6201 to 6501 South Connie Avenue to reflect current land uses and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is rezoning a portion of the Platinum Valley Planned Development District that currently has multifamily buildings, and we are initiating this to the RA2 multifamily zoning district to conform with the current land use. There's approximately 264 units within those buildings.
Questions of Mike on item 55? 56 then, Mike.
56 is a first reading rezone, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 1701 South Cleveland Avenue to rezone the subject property for the purpose of constructing a 13,600 square foot, two-story multi-tenant medical office building and accessory parking, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a little over a 3-acre site on the west side of Cleveland Avenue, north of 26th Street, and the applicant is proposing to construct a medical office building on this property. This did go through quite a bit of neighborhood review, and the end result, at least as of today, is that the applicant and the neighbors are on the same approval recommendation, I should say, for approval. Architectural Guild is the design consultant that's working on this project.
Questions of Mike on item 56. 57.
57 is a first reading major amendment, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending Chapter 1545070 Planned Development Districts at South Bonson Avenue and East 57th Street and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This amendment applies to approximately 37 acres of Summerhill South, which is Ronning Enterprises. They are downzoning a portion of their land that is currently allowed for multifamily. They're changing that to medium density and single-family residential zoning.
Questions of Mike on 57? 58.
58 is a first reading major amendment, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending Chapter 1545070 Planned Development Districts at 1/4 mile south of 57th Street west of Southeastern Drive, allowing changes in land use as reflected in the revised sub-area regulations and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is approximately 68 acres of land, Whisper Ridge development, and we are changing the zoning boundaries to conform to the subdivision plan, as well as allowing for a future community building to be constructed on this property.
Questions of Mike on item number 58. Is there a motion to set the hearing date for items 46 through 58 for June 4th at 7 o'clock?
So moved, Jamison.
Jamison moves. Is there a second?
Second, Benninga.
Benninga seconded. Further comments on the motion to set the hearing date for June 4th for items 46 through 58? Seeing no further discussion, all in favor of that motion to set the hearing date will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benninga?
Yes. All members present voted. The hearing date for items 46 through 58 has been set for June 4th. Item 59.
Item 59 is deferred action, a resolution vacating East Walnut Street from North Wayland Avenue to North Blauvelt Avenue.
Chad Heavy, Office of Public Works, Engineering Division. This vacation was discussed at the May 14th meeting. This section of right-of-way is located east of the John Morrell facility, east of Cliff Avenue. There was issues raised regarding some sidewalk that is in the right-of-way at last week's meeting. At that time, the petitioner was unavailable to attend the meetings in June. As I move forward with this issue, some issues have come up, and I want to clearly understand those issues and the implications that'll happen as if we do vacate that. So because of that, I am requesting that this item is deferred to the July 9th meeting.
Do you want July 9th?
July 9th, yes.
Is there a motion to defer that to July?
I so move.
Knutson moved.
Second, Litz.
Costello second. Knutson moved. Costello second is to defer item 59 until July 8th. Further comments? Not all in favor of the motion to defer item 59 to July 9th will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmembers Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benninga?
Yes.
All members present voted 8-0. Item 59 has been deferred until July 9th. Item 60.
Item 60 is a resolution declaring the results of the Sioux Falls City Initiative School District election held in the city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota on Tuesday, the 15th day of May, 2007.
Deborah Owens, City Clerk. May it please the council and members of the public. The City of Sioux Falls held the Drake Springs Pool Initiative election on Tuesday, May 15th, 2007. The vote totals from the optical scanners located at the Minnehaha County Administration have been verified and are before you now. In addition, for those listening at home, the results can be found on the city's website at siouxfalls.org. On Election Day, 13,252 citizens cast their votes. The initiated measure was adopted. The yes votes numbered 8,447, 64.42%. No votes were 4,665, 35.58%. There were 5 provisional ballots cast on May 15th. Provisional voting occurs when a person maintains they are registered to vote and their name does not appear on the list of registered voters. They may complete an affirmation slip and then cast a provisional vote. If after the election that person is found to be registered, the ballot will be counted. If the person is not found to be registered, it will not be counted. 5 provisional ballots were determined to be valid by the Minnehaha County Auditor's Office and were added to the results that you have before you. I would like to thank all of the citizens who took time from their busy schedules to vote on May 15th, and if I may share a short story that I think is somewhat inspiring. I was particularly inspired by 2 gentlemen who voted at the Sunnycrest Methodist Church. Both gentlemen were voting when I visited their polling place. One gentleman was blind and he was using the new AutoMark machine to cast his vote. The other gentleman was severely handicapped and in a motorized wheelchair and was utilizing the handicapped accessible election booth. When the gentleman in the wheelchair had finished voting, he maneuvered his chair across the room to pick up his friend. The individual who was blind then took the hand holds behind the wheelchair, much like a person would do if they were going to push the wheelchair. However, in this story, it was very different. You see, the blind man who was being guided by the man in the motorized wheelchair. They had walked together to the polling place, and now were heading back home together. Their commitment to cast their vote in spite of their physical challenges will continue to inspire me, as I hope it does many others who are listening. It is now my recommendation that the council approve the canvass totals before you.
Thank you, Deborah. Questions of Deborah on item number 60? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Staggers, is there a second?
I second that motion.
Knutson, second. Further comments? No further comments. All in favor of the motion to approve item 60 will vote yes. Those opposed will no.
Council members Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Bennigan?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 60 has been approved 8-0. Item 61.
Item 61 is a resolution amending the 2007-2011 capital program to add a wireless communication device.
Good evening, Mike Hall, Central Services. We're requesting council approval to amend the 2007 OSEP to move a wireless project up. We've had 2 opportunities presented to us. The State Library Board has presented the Sioux Libraries with a $10,000 Gates grant, and which will reduce the cost of this project to under $5,000. And we can pick up that cost coming from our city's Information Technology Revolving Fund. It's part of our master plan to retire the leased T1 lines and replace them with either fiber or wireless. This will be a wireless project. We'd also like to take advantage of the fact that the installers here in Sioux Falls now, and we could work with them immediately.
Questions of Mike on item number 61. Others that wish to address the council on item 61? Council discussion or action?
Motion approved.
Costello moved. Is there a second?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments? See no further comments. All in favor of the motion to approve item 61 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Bennigan?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 61 has been approved 8-0. Item 62.
Item 62 is a first reading, which was added this evening. An ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota conveying Lot 6A except Lot H1, Block 2, Riverdale addition to the City of Sioux Falls.
Good evening, Mark Cotter with the Office of Public Works. This is a continuation of our discussion at the informational. This is to approve the sale of the house on 26th Street. We received a high bid of $161,000. With maintenance, advertising, commission, title, and closing costs, our cost will be $17,374.43. Give us a net of $143,625.57, and I recommend this approval of this ordinance.
Questions of Mark on item number 62? Is there a motion to set the hearing date for June 4th for item 62?
So moved.
Kavanaugh moved. Is there a second?
Second, Jamison.
Jamison seconded. Further comments? No further comments. All in favor of the motion to set the hearing date for item 62 for June 4th? Well, yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
All members present voted. The item 62, the hearing date has been set for June 4th, 8-0. Item 22.
Item 22 is an abatement which was recommended for denial by the Director of Equalization in the State Attorney's Office for Minnehaha County and the City Attorney for Sioux Falls. Robert Litz, 615 South Grange Avenue, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, for 2006 property taxes in the amount of $935.79. Amount was requested as it was determined that the percent complete on the addition to the resident was incorrect. Taxpayers requesting an abatement for this value difference.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. My name is Bob Litz, 615 South Grange, and it feels a little funny being up here asking for this after being on the Board of Equalization. I think they thought I gave it all away, and maybe this is revenge. I'm not sure. Just a joke. But the reason I'm here tonight is I decided to do an addition on my home. I did it about 2 years ago. And in the process of doing this, I'm not going to take out another loan, or that thing would have been done a long time ago. I'm just sort of putting it together as I go. And last year wasn't a great year for housing, so some of my side jobs didn't pan out like I thought they would. And as a result, the progress on the house has been stopped. And what I have right now is a shell that is dried in with siding and the windows and everything on it. There's no heat to it. There's no electricity. There's just basic electricity, a couple of plugs and some lights. It's worth something. I'm not going to kid you. But what it's worth is where we're disagreeing here. And I believe that the Board of Equalization is taxing me full boat as if it's occupiable, and it's not right now. I'll be taking questions, and after that I'm going to leave the room while you vote.
Further? Okay, Dee.
Have you visited, Mr. Litz, have you visited with Eli at the equalization office about this issue?
I visited with Teresa Dunn, and she sent Jeffy, who I know from the VFW, out to look at it, and we just disagreed as to the value of it.
Okay.
Bob?
Bob, how did you arrive at the $935.79?
They did that, and I believe that's for half of the year's taxes, which what they sent me a bill for was $3,300 per year for taxes, the total. And my previous tax bill was approximately half of that. And I've doubled the square footage of what I had existing, so I'm assuming that they're doing it on a square footage basis. And that would be about half the amount of the increase for a year of taxes.
And when did you take out the building permit?
I took the building permit out 2 years ago.
And did you renew it after 1 year?
Yes, I did.
It's only good for 1 year?
Yes, I did.
Has it been renewed again?
Yes, it has been.
Okay.
I've renewed it once, Bob.
Okay.
Further questions?
Question for the city attorney. It seems somewhat uncommon for us to have abatements before us like this. Are we setting any precedent in this?
Yes, but I will say the council has done something similar before. I would also say that whatever action the council takes, it will also require an affirmative action by the Minnehaha County Commission in order to be granted.
So typically the appeals go directly to the county instead of the city?
No, if it's inside the city limits, it comes to the city first, but it also takes a vote of the county to grant the abatement.
Kim?
This is probably for the city attorney's office as well. I'm reading the description here and quoting, it was determined that the percent complete on the addition to the residence was incorrect. Who made that determination? Did the assessor's office make that determination?
Yes, the assessor's office would have made that determination.
And if I could, Mr. Chairman, if that was the case and they are recommending denial, what is their reasoning for that recommendation?
The reason is a reading of state law that says that because the valuation was not appealed, that the appropriate process is not therefore an abatement, that the valuation needed to be appealed, and that is what state law does say.
Thank you.
Further,
So can you explain, Bob, so you didn't go through the Board of Equalization first? You were...
I contacted them when I got my little notice in the mail because I was sort of shocked, and I have to make adjustments on my payments, to do that. And so I called down to Teresa Dunn, and I did not hear anything back from them. And this is the first thing, and I was surprised to see it.
further questions? Pat?
So, Gary, normally you would have gone through the Board of Equalization and contested the valuation, and therefore the property taxes would have been reduced. He did not contest his valuation.
So the relief would be prospective, not, you can't look back, you can only look forward, is what the law would tell us.
Further comments?
To be honest with you, I'm not even sure this is worth $900 for me to be up.
Any other comments on item 22? Is there any action?
If you're going to take a vote, may I leave the room?
You can do so. Unless there's any questions? Go ahead, Dean.
I guess it's not a question. I just feel
Are you directing it to council?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Mr. Litz, I appreciate you coming before us. I just, regardless of who was appearing before us tonight, I just find it rather awkward just because of the timing, since the Board of Equalization process is set, like it is, and then that however the board determines, those actions, if people are unhappy, then they can appeal it. And so would you help me again, is that when you received your notice, you applied for a hearing before the Board of Equalization?
When I got my notice, I called down and talked to Teresa Dunn, and she's the one who sort of runs things down there, I guess. And she got in contact with Jeff Wilkes, who came out and went through the building again. And it was my understanding that they were going to reduce the amount of their percentage of completion. And I just assumed it was okay, and I never heard back from them again until I received the council minutes on my computer the other night. I was a little shocked, to be honest with you.
Further
Did he give you an indication, Jeff Wilkes, at that time of what the correct percentage would
Yes,
be?
I believe he did. I thought they had me at 90%, which is not true. I'm a builder, but I'm framed up, like I say, and dried in, and I told him it was about 45 or 50%, which is probably pretty accurate. And I thought Jeff agreed with me. I thought that was the end of the matter.
So what's the fair amount?
Well, I'm thinking they doubled my taxes, okay? So half of it was on the original house, and then the other half would be on the new house. And so I would say half of the half, to me, seems like a fair percentage if I'm about 40 or 45 or 50% done with the addition. It's worth something. I'm not going to kid you there. But what exactly it's worth, that's what we're disagreeing about.
Further questions? Then you may be excused, sir. Okay. We've got item 22 before us, and as you know, when we make a motion, we've got to make it in the affirmative. Go ahead, Kevin.
Just procedural questions. If the council decides to take no action, then what happens here is it's denied, right?
That's correct.
All right. Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
Second. Motion to adjourn been made and seconded. All in favor of the motion to adjourn will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Council members Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
No.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz? Oh, sorry. Stagers?
No.
Benega?
No.
What was that vote now? Where are we at? What do you got?
I didn't write it down. I think we have 3 no's.
Let's go again. I'll write it down. Go ahead. All in favor of adjournment will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
No.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Stagers?
No.
Benega?
No.
4-3, so we stand.
You're adjourned.
We're adjourned.
No, because that's...
Nothing.
Mayor?
Between me and those guys. Yep.
But I don't know.
Yeah, that's the bottom line.
At all.
Right.